Good day, my name is Jemuel A. Pagapong, and now I am going to present a presentation that I made in Microsoft PowerPoint. So now I am going to present the topic, which is all about game development. So let us start with some objectives. The listener should be able to know what is game development, to know the history of and background of game development, to know who are the developers and their autobiography and game development, and the last is to know what are the advantages and disadvantages of game development. So the question is, what is game development? Game development is an art or process of creating games. It describes how the game designed, developed, and released. So it involves creating game. And in game development, it may involve concept, design, development, deployment, and the last is publish. So let us start to talk about concept. Concept is the easy to understand vision you have for your game. It means that it is the idea you think before you create a game. Concept gives them a chance to see the game before it is released. Next is design, the conceptual side of game development. In design, it involves the applying of design and aesthetics to create a game. It is about what the game should be and how it should work. Next is development. It is a process that creates growth or process in game development. In development, it involves developing, rendering, modeling, and etc. So, next is deployment, the mechanism through which applications, modules, updates, and patches are delivered from developers to users. In deployment, it is the process of making the application work on a target devices. And the last is publish. It can be called also release. In publish, it involves marketing finished games to the public. So let us go to the history of game development. Before we start, game development additional. This is only additional. Game development is start in the research labs of scientists. So let us start with the year 1940. In the year 1940, the first recognized example of game machine was unveiled by Dr. Edward Aller Condon. The game, based on ancient mathematical game of Nim, was played by 50,000 people during the 6 months. So let's go to 1952, where the first game created. It called OXO. OXO is written by Alexander S. Douglas. It is the first computer game to use digital display. 1966, Ralph Baer invented a prototype multiplayer, multi-program video game system that could be played on television. It called the Brown Box. Next is 1967, Sega and Taito were the first companies to increase the public's interest in arcade gaming. In 1967, it is the release of electromechanical games like Periscope and Crown Special Soccer. In the year 1968, Ivan Sutherland and his student created the first AR and VR head-mounted display. So look at this camera. The device is placed on the head of a man. It called Sword of Damocles. Next is the year 1970, through commercial design and development of games began. Computer Space was the first commercially sold coin-operated video game. Next is 1975 rather. Atari released a home version of Pong, which was as successful as its arcade counterpart. In the year 2000, it is the release of PlayStation 2, and it became the best-selling game console of all time. So if we say console is an electronic device that outputs a video signal or image to display a video game that can be played with a game controller. In the year 2000, mobile games start to gain popularity across the globe. In the year 2005, which is the modern age of gaming, video games was in high demand due to which the mainstream console video game. In the year 2008, mobile games distributed by mobile operators remained a marginal form of gaming until the Apple App Store was launched. In the year 2011, Skylanders Spyro's Adventure brought video game into physical world. So why? How? So Skylanders, it is a 3D action adventure platform game that is played along with toy figures that interact with it through a portal of power that reads their tag through NFC. Next is, and the last is 2017. Nintendo released its Wii U successor, the Nintendo Switch, the only system to allow both television-based and handheld gaming. So let us move on to game developers. So, what is game developers? They are responsible for designing and developing video game for PC, console, and mobile applications. They are code the base engine from the ideas of the design team. So, first we have Ralph Henry Baer. I already said this name earlier. So, he was born Rodolph Heinrich Baer. He was born on March 8, 1922 and died on December 6, 2014. He is a German-American inventor, game developer, and engineer. He is considered as the father of video games. He was awarded the National Medal of Technology and he developed the brown box console video game system. Next, we have Alexander Shafto Sandy Douglas. Born on 21 of May 1921 and died on 29 of April 2010. He is a British professor of computer science. He created the first graphical computer game, OXO. We also have Stephen Russell. His nickname is Slug. he also called Slug. He is an American computer scientist that is most famous for creating Space War. We also have some companies who develop games like Sega. Sega is a Japanese multinational video game and one of the world's most prolific arcade game producers. Sega develop video game consoles. We also have Taito. The founder of Taito is Michael Hogan. Taito is an important industry influencer in the early days of video games. We also have Nintendo. It is founded in 1889 as Nintendo Karuta. It is a Japanese multinational video game company headquartered in Kyoto, Japan. The founder of Nintendo is Fusajiro Yamauchi. And the last is we have Anino Inc. It is formerly Anino Playlab, Anino Games Inc. It is the first and leading game developer here on the Philippines. So let us talk about the advantages and disadvantages of game development. So let us talk about first the advantages. Game development allows you to express your creativity. So how? Based on here, video game allows you to express your creativity by designing and developing a game where allows you to apply your creative skills to the construction of an engrossing story or world for the game. Here you may also demonstrate your creativity. Next is you can work independently. This allows you, an individual or small team with a goal in mind, to design and produce a game based on their unique vision. Next is we have you can follow your passion. If you enjoy video games, working as a designer may allow you to turn your hobby into career. And the last is we have game development is a part-time work that is available. It is an independent video game designer may work on their designs in the evenings or on weekends. For example, this allows you to maintain a steady source of income from your full-time job while also pursuing your passion for video game design. So let us move to the disadvantages of game development. Disadvantages. So first we have here, it's highly competitive. Competition for opportunities within the video game industry can often be tough, meaning it is able to endure hardship. We also have you may work long hours, where early expectations during the game development process can be expensive, particularly late in the process when attempting to hit a target release date. We also have independent development can be uncertain. Working as an independent game designer can provide more freedom than working for a major studio, but with less certainty of pay and or job security. And the last is we have work may be physically demanding. So, although video game designers spend much of their day sitting and working at a computer, it can still be a physically demanding career. Why? How? When working in computer-related fields such as video game design, it's important to ensure you take break to get up and stretch your legs. It's also important to make sure that you're protecting your wrist by using ergonomic computer devices to reduce strain. So that's end my presentation. So I hope that you learned something about game development. So again, my name is Jemuel A. Pagapong of GAS 11B, and thank you.